That was one of my support systems during this whole research phase. Food. It is with great sadness as I record this video because this will be the last video on AP research. And in this video, we're going to talk about the role of my prep. So let's get preppy. That was bad, Miriam. That was really bad. I cannot talk about my prep without talking about the journal entries. The first thing we're going to do is talk about the journal entries. The journal entries were my favorite aspect of this whole prep because in the journal entries, I basically expressed myself. It functioned as an emotional outlet for me. When I was feeling frustrated, I wrote in my journal. When I was tired, I wrote in my journal. When things were going good, I wrote in my journal. And it also served as a record for me. So what I did, when Miss Prof introduced the role of prep, she said that you could do two things with this. You could enjoy this, use it to your own advantage, or you could just see it as an unnecessary aspect of this whole research phase. But she said that she would rather us use it to our own advantage. And I did that. I was like, I'm going to make this prep fun for me. I remember the entry I made when the whole emailing the professors thing wasn't working, and Microsoft Outlook kept on sending me messages that, oh sorry, this is undeliverable, and so I took up this persona of a fed up client, and I actually threatened to sue Microsoft Outlook on my prep. I'm an extra human being, so I just found the prep extremely instrumental towards my emotional stability over the course of this whole year-long research project. It's so crazy looking through my journal and looking at the first date in the second week of September, and I was just excited to start the project, and I was so scared. And looking at my last journal entry, reflecting upon my methodology, reflecting upon my literature review, reflecting upon my elevator speeches, it's amazing to see how far I've come. Which brings me into the major role of my prep, was just to see my progress over the year. Looking at things like my IRB form, looking at my plans for my methodology, looking at my plans for the Christmas break with how I would conduct my surveys, looking at everything is just amazing to see the progress that I made over the year. Starting from that little 5-page document on all the possible things I could research on Yoruba in Nigeria, and ending with a 35-page document and a 5,000-word essay is amazing. My prep also served as an organization tool for me because I had a prep for my final essay, in which I had a prep for my interview results, for my survey results, for my introduction, for my literature review, for my methodology, for my conclusion. And through that, I was able to just collate everything and see it in its raw stage. It was like my prep was the skeleton of my essay. And then when I brought it together and I realized that I was about 5,000 words over the word limit, because I had done everything in separate sections, I was able to pinpoint the areas I needed to work on shortening. For instance, my interview section and my literature review, they were way too longer than they needed to be. And if not for my prep, it would have taken me a while to recognize that aspect. Oh yes, and one of the most important roles of my prep was just functioning as a reflective piece for me. Because in doing this reflective summative, I attribute most of the content to my prep, because I refer to my prep for everything that I wanted to talk about regarding the research. Having the prep allowed me to organize everything I was working on, and allowed me to organize it in stages, so I knew where I started, how I continued, and where I ended. And so it's amazing to reflect on all of this now and be able to recognize that if not for the prep, this whole process would have been a lot more difficult. And also, the prep is a very important legal aspect of this whole AP research journey, because if the college board decides to act bonkers like they did with the whole word cutting issue and say they need proof of all of the things that we did over the years, will I have my prep to prove that I did this project? And I guess that's the last video, and that's the end. And this definitely won't be the last you'll hear from me. Love you.